Mandalorian Season 3 is the most disappointing thing since my stepson, because my real son would never fail me. Mandalorian Season 3 is one of the most disappointing seasons of television that I've watched in a while, and it's not due to how bad it is, since it's really not that bad of a season, it's just straight down the middle mediocre television. But what drives me nuts is how fantastic the show has been before. Season 1 of The Mandalorian is one of my favorite seasons of television, period. You want to talk about a show single-handedly revitalizing interest in a franchise, Mandalorian Season 1 did it in flying colors. It was a really unique, darker Star Wars show, but not like edgy or that type of dark. Oh gosh, get this off my screen. But it did dive into bounty hunting and the grimier side of the Star Wars universe. It had such a strong vision, great characters, and just incredible cinematography and storytelling that it got me so invested that I genuinely got upset when they killed this little Ugnaught. I still do not forgive this episode for gutting me like a fish. And then Season 2 is a pretty great follow-up to Season 1. Sure, it was more of a cameo fest. You had Ahsoka, and I now know everyone here is pissed off by how I pronounce that. You also had Boba Fett, and oh my goodness! But still, all the cameos and all, it was still a very personal journey of Mando and Grogu as they return into the Jedi. It's a great ending and a great finale for this great show, and it probably should have ended there, but oh no, please don't make me review Boba Fett again. No. Great, now we have to talk about Boba Fett, since it's basically another season of Mandalorian. The book of Boba Fett is actually crucial because in this show, we see Grogu undo what we spent the last 2 seasons doing, which is getting him to the Jedi. He decides, nah, I'm good, I'm going to my dad. And it's honestly fair that he would reject the Jedi and join his dad, but at the same time, why did we do this? Why did we spend all this time getting him there just for him to change his mind? Why does Star Wars media always undo everything, every time? I don't think we've ever had a single decision stick around in Star Wars for more than 5 minutes. Can we just have something stick? Anyways, we're done with talking about Boba Fett, and just like Disney, we can probably just get rid of him now. Let's get back to talking about Season 3. So when we start Season 3, we're in a weird spot. We have our 2 main characters that have basically already achieved all of their personal goals. We have no real villain since we already beat Gus Fring in the finale of Season 2, and we have nowhere to go other than Din just reclaiming Mandalore and securing that.
Milo, you advised me not to finish the joke.
So heading into Season 3, we really have nowhere to go. We basically already built the main Lego set, and now we just have the spare pieces that we're supposed to make something else out of. And it leads to the big problem that lasts throughout this entire season, a lack of vision. This show with its writing and structure has no clue what it wants to achieve. It's constantly throwing a new and different storyline at the audience every 2 episodes, never allowing for a single storyline to end up developing. Instead, going for a more throw it at the wall and see what sticks mentality. Oh, Mando needs to be redeemed, done in 2 episodes. We have pirates, I guess now. Sure, give them an episode and a half. This villain that will have nothing to do with the rest of the season. Sure, why not give her a full episode? Jack Black Lizzo episodes. Sure, give them one. And then we just have 2 episodes to wrap the whole thing up with every Mandalorian getting back together and retaking Mandalore. Whatever, also Moff Gideon has remade the Empire and sort of has clones now. Whatever, don't worry about all that. By the time we get to the finish line of this show, we have a bunch of sort of cool half-baked ideas, but there's no cohesion at all to the story. It has the same main problem the Book of Boba Fett had. It has too many ideas competing for the spotlight, and they never can just pick a lane to run with. Ever since The Mandalorian has become a popular TV show, Disney has been basically trying to set up its own Mandalorian universe, and that has never felt more apparent than here. There's so many ideas fighting for attention here due to all the stuff that they're just trying to set up, but by the end we end up with a season that has no idea what it wants to be itself. And that confusion and identity is rippled into an episode-by-episode basis. The direction here is confused at best. We see directors that have done good episodes before in the system feel so confused with what they're trying to achieve with their individual episodes, leading to each episode feeling completely separate and not coherent at all with any other episodes in the series. And the cinematography here as well has completely fallen off. I know we can't get Greg Fraser back because he's too busy doing good stuff like The Batman and Dune Part 2, but man, he is sorely missed. We have these cyberpunkish worlds and landscapes, but then they're followed by these overexposed nightmare worlds, and then we just keep flipping back and forth between them, expecting there will be no whiplash from scene to scene. It is so visually jarring, and if you don't believe me, go watch Season 1 and how similarly all of those episodes feel in look and tone, and then go watch episode 6 of Season 3 and try not to get a headache. And it's so disappointing since they've had so much time to get this right. Season 1 to Season 2 was only a 1-year turnaround, but from Season 2 to Season 3, they've had over 2.5 years to get this right, and it still feels like this half-baked, put-together mess. And I kind of wish there was only one big problem with this show so I could say, you know, if you fix this, you'd be able to turn it around. But this is just a show with so many underlying issues due to how they've just overstayed their welcome and overexpanded this series into something it's really not capable of doing. This was never a show meant to be this universe-expanding show trying to bridge multiple Star Wars characters and multiple Star Wars worlds. It was just supposed to be a story about a bounty hunter with his kid going through the galaxy, and when you try to make it bigger than that, it really just doesn't work. But flaws and all, this show is still very watchable. I love Mando himself, and there are some interesting ideas for characters, and some of the ideas they have for storylines are cool, but I just wish they were more fleshed out because they could have been awesome. It's not great, it's not awful, it's probably the one thing I hate television to be, which is just pure mediocrity. I cannot recommend this season to anyone. It's not horrible, but it's a far cry of what the show used to be. But if you want the essence of an actual good Star Wars show, go watch Andor, please. That show needs more love. That show is great. Go watch that. But that won't distract me from Mandalorian Season 3, which I'm gonna give a 5 out of 10. But you don't have to take my word for it. Let's ask Grogu. What do you think? Was The Mandalorian Season 3 a mediocre show?
Yes. Yes.
See? Told you.